Um,
All right, it looks like it's recording.
Great. Okay, so we have Debra here, Debra Schultz. I met her on YouTube and I started following her with her sugar diet journey. And Debra has the results I want. I'm very close. This is why I brought her on to chat with her because I think this is really valuable for my audience. I'd like to spread her light further and also learn a thing or two from you, Deborah. This is take two. We tried a few days ago to do this interview and it flopped. There was all kinds of technical issues, childcare issues. Anyways, we are here. I'm so excited. And why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit briefly about your background and how you got to where you are now. And then I want to talk about where are you now and what are you doing. So you
All
have the
right.
floor.
So my name is Debra Schultz, and well, I have like a past of my health journey started when I was a really young because I had constipation and when I was a kid, and I didn't know why. It was just a struggle. I was miserable, and like so my health journey started when I was about I think 12, 13, a teenager, when I figured that if I ate more fruits and vegetables, my problems got better. And so then I kind of start looking into like what can I do to improve my digestion. It was pretty much my own concern. I didn't have weight issues. I was a healthy kid, no problems then. And yeah, so I started eating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And if you don't know, I'm from Brazil. So our diet is pretty much rice, beans, vegetables, fruits, and a lot of meat as well, which I was trying to reduce at that time. And yeah, that was pretty much my diet until I went to college. I gained some weight. And then that was the first time I was introduced to a low carb diet, which I did for about 2 weeks. Like I lost some weight and then I just went back to my normal diet, which was what I was doing fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and stuff. Um, so I did that for a very long time. And then I moved to the US in 2012. And that was about when I was introduced to the social media kind of stuff, YouTube. And that's when I found Freely the Banana Girl. So I saw her videos and I was very intrigued. I like her results are so impressive and she ate so much. And I was like, wow, I want to be like that. So my diet was somewhat healthy. Like I moved to the US and probably like was eating a couple like more processed stuff. And I said, wow, like I just love her lifestyle. But for me back then, it was not something that I wanted to do. Like I like fruit, but eating only fruit, it was something that I did not want to do. So I thought it was cool. And then I tried for a little bit and I said, no, that's too much fruit. I don't like it. I like more variety. But well, it just kept in the back of my mind, like, wow, I just want her results. Not that I had weight issues or anything. Like I was pretty healthy. I always exercised, but I just liked the way she looked and how much she could eat. So then I just left it like as it was. And then about a few months later, I found Dr. Neil Bernard book. And I didn't know what it was about. It was just like about the brain or something. And so, wow, that sounds very interesting. And I always liked to learn more about health and nutrition. So I start reading it, and it was a plant-based diet that was advocating. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting because for me, like I don't know, they have for your brain you need like salmon and omega threes and something that like he was not promoting. And I said, wow, that's interesting. Then I wanted to learn more about it. I went to the library. I got all the books I could find about him, loved it, and started following a plant-based diet. And I did it for many years until I got pregnant. With my first daughter was about 2015. Yeah, so I did it for a few years. So I was strictly like vegan, I would say, for a few years before I got pregnant. That's when I started craving some meat. So then I said, okay, I'm not doing vegan anymore. I'm just gonna start eating meat again. Did that. Yeah, gained pregnancy weight. And then when I wanted to lose the weight, I said, what do I do now? And then my reaction was, okay, what's trending? Like I was in social media all the time. Keto was popular back then. So I started following keto. And then for my surprise, I never lost the weight. And I only needed to lose 10 pounds. So that was my hope. Like I'm gonna do keto and it's gonna be awesome. It, it never worked. And I did it for a year and a half. So and
Wow.
I was trying hard. And I tried lowering fats. I tried everything that I could with the keto. And I said, okay, like I just wanted to have another kid right now. I'm not gonna worry about losing the weight. And that's when I went carnivore because carnivore was saying, oh, you can be very fertile doing carnivore and stuff. And I said, okay, I want to have a baby. Let's try to do that. And there was initial weight loss with the carnivore, but I gained everything back and was never able to lose it. It wasn't my priority anyways. So then I got pregnant. As soon as I got pregnant, I got a huge aversion to meat. I could not stand it. So then I went back to mostly plant-based and I said, okay, I'm going to do that because I feel better that way. I eating mostly fruits, vegetables, some crackers, anything I could digest because I was so sick my whole pregnancy that I couldn't stand much of anything. But yeah, I had my second kid and then I had to lose the baby weight again. What am I going to do? So that's when I found out about the Mary's Mini, which is a version of the Start Solution, but a little more strict. And the way I did it is you eat only potatoes and vegetables for 10 days. So I did that and I lost 5 pounds. And I said, that's great. So I needed to lose 10 pounds. I don't know like after you have a baby, there's the last 10 pounds that never go away.
Right.
Yeah. So then I needed to lose 10 pounds and I lost five. And I say, okay, I'm halfway there. What do I do now? Like, I'm going to just do the start solution, which is like I was pretty much there. So I'm just going to introduce the rest of the starches and see what happens. And I was kind of in a plateau. I couldn't lose the weight. And that's when I found, what's his name? Greg Doucette on the internet. And
Say
he
it
talks
again.
about
Say his name
the
again.
Greg Doucette. I don't know how to pronounce his name really.
Okay.
He's like, he promotes a very high protein diet. He's a bodybuilder.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a bodybuilder kind of diet. So I
Okay.
was doing high protein, lots of fiber, still eating carbs, but very low fat. And I lost a lot of weight doing that. I lost the rest of the weight that I wanted to lose. I got in really good shape. And my exercise routine back then was mostly cardio. So I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't lifting weights or anything. And that was great. And it worked for me for a very long time until something shifted and I thought that I needed to eat more protein and less carbs. That's when things got a little weird. And actually I gained weight doing that. And there's something with the high protein and low carb that does not work with me. And while I was still eating the carbs, I was fine. And I got in really good shape. And I just found out like fat for me is a no-no. If I eat too much fat, I gain weight. And if I eat too much protein, and while doing low carb, I just feel awful and I actually gain weight as well. So there's something with the carbs that makes me feel better and that makes me lose weight better too. Like, and it was that time too when I was doing very high protein and very low carb, that's my constipation went back. And it was awful, was to the point that I was going to the doctor, no answers. He said, diet has nothing to do with it. And I was just frustrated. And I said, there's something that I need to do. And I said, well, while I was doing my high fruit, high vegetables, whole grains, always worked. So I went back to doing that and it does work, you know. But then I slightly starting to gain a little bit of weight and start being more fluff and stuff. And I said, oh, I don't want that. Like I liked my body the way it is now. I don't want to lose that. So then I was back and forth between high protein and high carb for maybe a year or so until Cole Robinson started talking about the sugar diet. And that's when all these things started. So I was kind of a little afraid to say, okay, sugar. Okay, I don't want to, I don't know what I was going to expect, maybe gain more weight or whatever. I don't know. But he was talking about the sugar diet and he was mentioning Dr. Campner's diet, the rice diet. And I said, oh, I think I know about that diet because I always heard about the Dr. McDougall saying something about it. And I just knew there was a rice, sugar, and fruit diet. And I said, I don't really like to do that. I don't know, it's very strict. But after reading about it, I just got fascinated with the whole thing. And it's not just rice, fruit, and stuff. It's more than that. Of course, there's a strict uh, first phase of the diet. That's I think is too restrictive to be honest. But the afterwards, like introducing other things, introducing meats, introducing everything else, that's when I got excited and said, okay, so that you can lose the weight, being a little bit more restrictive, but after you can eat all this stuff. So it's different than Start Solution that all you can eat is just the starches and the vegetables, and not even a lot of fruit because Dr. McDougall was kind of against fruit. And I did not like that at all because I have a sweet tooth. So when you tell me that I can eat fruit all day, I say, okay, I'm happy. And it's not the only thing I'm going to eat because I don't want to be freely. I want to be able to eat other things. And I love rice. I grew up in Brazil eating rice my whole life. And so I started doing that and I lost weight pretty quickly. It was like too quickly, to be honest. It was kind of scary. And my daughter's here.
Hi, girl. Hi,
She's
beautiful.
another one that loves rice as well. So,
Yay.
and then after that, I said, okay, I have to start introducing more protein because I'm losing weight so quickly. It's like I have to go to phase 2 and 3. So I stopped losing the weight. And at the same time as I was doing that, it was when I stopped doing crazy cardio workouts as well. And I said, okay, like life couldn't be more perfect. Like I'm eating tons of sugar and fruits and rice, and I'm not exercising a ton, and I lost the weight, and I feel great. I have energy. My mood is better. I'm more patient. It's just everything's got better. Like I was so happy. Like I couldn't be happier. And that's when I start talking about it, and then say that's too amazing for me to keep to myself. I have to spread the word. And then I found like more people talking like about doing the sugar diet and feeling amazing, say yeah, that's great. The only thing that I don't like about the sugar diet is like people just doing sugar and fruit all day, and I can feel satiated doing that.
Right.
I love the rice, and I now like eating more variety, not just rice, but I don't know, there's something with the rice that I love.
Wow, this is such a great journey that you brought us to, and you're a really good storyteller. So thank you very much for
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Okay, so I know everyone is asking in their heads, because I am like, okay, you lost weight too quickly. What was the secret? Like, how were you eating? Because I'll tell you right now, I just introduced more starches and I'm trying to increase my calories and I've been gaining again. So I have to cut back again. So how did you make it so that it was so easy for you to lose so much weight so quickly?
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm already pretty small. So, like, I was very fascinated because for me, my size, it's hard for me to lose weight. Like, I'm small, I'm 5'2",
Yes,
and
right.
I don't weigh a ton. So, to be honest, I don't know. All my understanding for everything that I've tried in the past all has to do with calorie density, the caloric intake, and some people don't like to believe that.
Right.
And that when you do diets like this, it's mostly plant-based, you automatically are in a calorie deficit for the most part. Some people don't. It's just what happens. But for me, I think that's what happened. I do not count calories. I do not wish to count calories, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I like to eat when I'm hungry.
Want something on your test.
Yes, just a little break. Okay.
I see.
Okay, but you have to be really quiet, okay? And I'm gonna put the volume down. Thank you. So I don't like to be hungry. I get in a very bad mood when I'm hungry, and I don't wish that to anybody to be around me when I'm
But your
hungry.
portions must be small. You must get satiated quickly. Like
People,
your satiation cues are probably on point.
yeah, I think that's a that's a good point. Yeah, I don't eat a ton. I don't know why. I don't know. I think my mom, my sister, we all get satiated very quickly, and my kids are the same way. They are worse than me actually. They eat a little bit and they're full. But the thing is, I like that when the rice diet solution, when they give you the portions, And I ate that portion and said, oh, for me is enough. For somebody else might not be enough. So maybe you have to train your body to adjust to the portion sizes. I don't know. But I was able, I let myself to eat as many times as I want in a day. So I like to keep my portions this small. It's maybe because my digestive issues, I have a lot of problems with that. And my doctor always told me to eat smaller portions. So it's something that I've been doing forever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I eat, I don't know, breakfast, an amount that I think it's comfortable for me. And then if I'm hungry, I don't know, I eat more. If I'm hungry an hour later, I just eat again.
Yeah.
If I'm hungry like 5 hours later, that's when I'm gonna eat again. I don't control that. Like
Right.
I just more intuitive
It
with my
sounds
hunger.
like, yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you've really dialed into your intuition and intuitive eating. And
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people watching, I mean, I'm very close to my goal weight. However, I still have the 10 pounds to lose. I keep chipping down and then coming back up. And like for me, um, I'm learning a lot. I'm on a learning journey here. And um, so I think for a lot of people who are watching, they're much more overweight than you and I are. And they got that way from overeating, right?
Yeah.
So, and the hormones are all out of balance and everything. So, what tip would you tell them as you kind of an expert because you have experimented and gotten the results that we all want. So, how would you say someone who's like a volume eater, they like to feel really full, or they're
Mhm.
used to feeling really full, maybe they don't even need to feel really full, but that's the pattern. How would you say, like, go more with your intuition, eat smaller meals, like, feel safe that you get to eat again? Because this diet culture makes us feel like we better eat now because we're going to go on a big diet again tomorrow, or we're going to restrict carbs again tomorrow. So, yeah, what is your tip there?
Okay, so for volume eaters, and I was a volume eater for a while when I was doing the start solution, so I understand that.
Right.
Um, for my background of understanding the start solution and something that I follow for many years is, yeah, you can eat a volume by eating more fruits and vegetables. And I agree with the fruit. You have to eat the fruit. The fruit is very satiating and it's good for people that have a tendency to eat more sugary things like candy and stuff. And do not omit the sugar. I think the sugar, like table sugar, when you add to your meals, it's just change everything. I think you give it to your body what it needs, because I was sugar phobic for a while, even doing the start solution. And now that I'm adding real sugar to my food, I feel like, like when your body feels like you're giving your body what it needs and you feel like, wow, I needed it. And I don't know, it's a good feeling. And
Yeah.
even with the salt, like you've been talking about salt and something that I wasn't doing, even if you sprinkle some salt on top of your food, it's like the same thing. Like
Yeah.
it just it's like you're giving your body like a hug, like you give it what your body needs. It
Yeah.
just feels good. So if you're a volume eater, yeah, you can increase your vegetable intake, your fruit intake, something that are low in calorie. You need volume, but you're not going to increase the amount of calorie very much. And I believe that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't think you should be eating tons of calories if you're trying to lose weight, just because I think you want to, I don't know what you're chasing, like boost your metabolism.
Right.
I think everybody has a balance that's appropriate for their body. Like a smaller person is definitely going to gain weight if he eats 3,000 calories. Like a
Yeah.
person that's very active, like a young man that's 200 pounds, it eats 3,000 calories. Maybe that's their maintenance and they
Right.
rate that way. But for me, I'm small. If I eat that much, I'm going to gain weight,
Right.
so you have to find what's your sweet spot, and you have to find out there yourself. You can use calculators online to have an estimate. It's definitely not accurate, but it's an idea. So where to
Right.
start.
Right.
um, I don't know, like counting calories, but if you're struggling to lose weight, I think it's a good start, and I do believe that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you need to go too low.
Right.
You just need to find your maintenance or whatever, your maintenance calories or whatever that you want to call this, and reduce it by a little bit, not a lot, maybe 100 calories a day.
Right.
Or
And
you
slow
can
and steady.
increase, yeah, or you can increase your activity level, like walking. You cannot go in front of me, sweetie. You're walking, I don't know, 6,000 steps a day. I don't know, increase it to 2,000 more a day. Go to
Right.
8,000, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And I was playing around with my steps lately, not changing anything else. And by increasing your step count by 2,000, 3,000, it makes a big difference. It does. It does. And it's maybe another pound, another 200 calories that you're gonna burn in a day. It makes a difference. And
Makes
you don't have to do heat workouts. You don't have to,
right.
go to the
This
gym.
is a tea time.
Yes, sweetie. You don't have to kill yourself at the gym. It's just smaller twists that we have to do.
Yeah. I love that. I want to go back to the salt and sugar because I think that's missing for a lot of people. I actually just posted it just before we came on. I just made this sugar solution and it's with an electrolyte that I like using anyway. But I added 3 tablespoons of sugar and it has like potassium, sodium, and we know Cole has been talking about potassium and sodium, right?
Yeah.
There's also magnesium. So there's really an electrolyte balance that you need to feel satiated. And this is what I had wrong when I was doing the starch solution recently. About March and April, I was doing like low fat, high carb, trying to be vegan, even though I never declared to be vegan. I still was eating some lean protein because I'm not a vegan. But I did go a lot more vegan than I had in the past. It was kind of McDougall style. And I did the Margaret's mini. Is it Margaret? Is her name Margaret?
Mary.
Mary. Mary's mini. I did like full on potatoes only for like a whole week. Holy cow. Like what the hell is that? I did it. It was fine, but I overate on potatoes because I wasn't salting it properly. I wasn't getting the concentrated sugar to satiate me. So I was stuffing myself with like potato pudding and like stuff that was really high volume, but I now know I was trying to get those minerals from those potatoes. And I had to eat so much volume to get all the minerals to feel satisfied. So then I started introducing salt and sugar. And then I've been following Cole for years.
Mhm.
But I saw a video from him and it was sugar diet. And then I started evolving into that. Um, but this is the issue a lot of the time for those of you watching, and we're talking about volume eating, and you think you need the volume, but it's the minerals you're trying to get from the fruits and veggies and carbs and whatever else that you're just not giving yourself. So if you make a solution, a hydrating solution that has sugars, salts, different kinds of salts, different kinds of minerals like magnesium, phosphorus, like all the things that we need, potassium, sodium, like all the things, um, you can actually eat way less
Mhm.
because you have those electrolytes. And it's funny because they're called electrolytes, so, right? Electricity. We need it for our electricity. It's our power.
Yes.
It powers us. And so then you don't need to eat like 10,000 pounds of potatoes to feel satiated. My stomach was out to here. I just had a baby a year and a half ago, and my stomach was the size that it was when I was 6 months pregnant every day and farting. Oh my God,
Yes.
the gas.
Yeah, I think that's why I went towards the rice, because the rice digests so good for me, and the
Ah,
potatoes does give me that bloat and gas that I do not like. I
yeah,
eat potatoes maybe for dinner because I know I don't want to deal with the gas and bloating all
right,
day. And
right.
so yeah, during the day I just go towards rice, which is great for me. But I agree with you. There was a person on the internet, I forget his name, but he talks about like say like how to eat for best satiation, and is there's nothing to do with volume, because yeah, you can eat pounds of potatoes and never feel satiated. And the minerals that he talks about are sodium, potassium, calcium. There's something else. Magnesium. So
Yes.
he always talks about those, and then those are crucial for your satiation. And that's why for me, like I'm never gonna stop eating yogurt because I love it. And for me, it's very satiating. Why? Because it has all the nutrients in there. So
Yeah.
if I eat my rice and I put not a lot, a little bit of yogurt on top, for me, it's very satiating.
I've
You
seen
know,
your that recipe on your channel.
so I usually I use a lot of yogurt on a lot of things. And for me, is a game changer. Like when I don't do it, I feel the difference. So if you do the rice, the fruit, put your sugar, put everything, everything you need, and put a little bit of yogurt on top. Is awesome. Like it's very satiating, and it makes me full for hours.
Can you give an example of what you might eat in a typical day?
Sure. I always eat oatmeal for breakfast, and I just love it. I don't want to change it. So I eat oatmeal. So then, yeah, I put sugar to taste. I put some fruit, usually bananas and blueberries. Um, what else do I put in there? And I do put my yogurt on top, cinnamon, whatever you want to. Sometimes I switch the fruit, but I usually blueberries and bananas.
And how much is it?
Well, I usually make like half cup maybe of uncooked, something like that. I
And
think
then how
that's
much yogurt and how much sugar?
sugar. I just get a spoon. I don't measure, I just put a little bit. I try, tastes good, doesn't taste good. I put
Nice.
more, put less, depends on the
Nice.
day. But yeah, maybe about a spoonful.
Okay.
For me, it's enough. I don't want it to be too sweet. It needs to be like just right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, and then how much yogurt do you think you put on there?
Maybe same spoon to until I feel like it's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, and fruit the same thing. Like I put a banana in there. I know sometimes the banana is huge, sometimes the banana is small, so depends. And I have frozen blueberries, so maybe like I don't know, half a cup to a cup of blueberries on top.
And is this how you ate? Is this a meal? The meal's what you're saying. Is this what you lost weight on, or now that you're or
Yeah,
both?
when I was losing weight, I was not doing the yogurt. It's something that I started doing later because I wanted to introduce a little bit more protein, and then I found out
Right.
that I feel more satiated actually with the yogurt.
Okay.
And then for snack, I'll do like a bowl of rice. You know, about a cup of rice. I don't know because I
Okay,
just
yeah.
get a
But
spoon
that's
and I put it
helpful
in a
because
plate.
people are going to be like, how much? So just even just a guideline. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I just put it in a mouth. I have a bowl. I put it in a mouth. Half full of rice, and then the other half with fruit. And then I put a little bit of sugar on top, mix it all together, put yogurt on top. And I do that for lunch, for snack, and then dinner is usually a vegetable. I do rice with vegetables, and I do like to eat beans with that.
Okay.
And then
And
once a week, maybe once or twice a week, I have chicken,
okay.
or fish, or eggs. Yeah.
So you're not eating protein every single day.
No. I do vegan protein, like more concentrated vegan protein, like TDP or tofu, edamame. So those are things that they're higher in protein. So I do that one sometimes instead of the beans.
And do you focus a lot on low fat now, or you're more relaxed with the fat?
I still doing low fat. Sometimes I'll do like higher fat. Like if my kids are eating a cookie, I'm gonna have a cookie, you know. And I don't do that all the time. Sometimes it's just a little bit, but yeah, it's higher in fat, and
I
I
saw
don't do
you
it a
eat
lot.
leftover pizza the other day.
I do that a lot
It was
too. So
like a
people say,
small
"Oh,
amount.
you eat so little." I say, "Oh, you don't know because I eat my kids leftover. Maybe I should put that in
Right.
video too because I do that a lot. Like
Yeah, I
I
love
need
that.
so my kids they like rice with butter. They like everything with butter, right? So they eat their pasta with butter,
Yeah.
their vegetable with butter. So then I'm eating a little bit of butter too because if they leave it on their plate and I have some, so yeah, I'm eating the butter,
Right.
and I have no problem with that.
Yeah, because you're maintaining now.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we only have 10 minutes left. Is there anything that we didn't cover yet that you want to say that you think is really important for people to start helping them lose weight?
Um, I would say to not stuff yourself to the point that you're past your fullness cues. And don't eat if you're not hungry. I don't think it's necessary. I think your body knows when it needs fuel. And I think you need to understand that. If you get in tune with your body, I think weight loss is a lot easier. So, you don't know, I think that's all. I think that it's simple. Like it's not complicated. It's just for a lot of times, like we eat just because I know you're bored or because you're stressed, and you have to understand that why are you eating? Are you truly hungry? Because if you're not, you have to understand why you're doing that. And eating is not gonna solve your problems.
Yeah.
Um, Eating is for energy, is for mostly for energy to keep you alive and stuff, but it's not for entertainment.
Right, right. That's a
Yeah.
big lesson. That's a whole other video on its own.
Hmm.
That's a tough one. I think a lot of people struggle with that and they'll ask how, but this is where you take personal responsibility. And, if you are really, really determined and ready to change your body and change your life, you have to go and figure it out. You have to go and find people to follow that will help you with that. Experiment, fail, fall forward, fail forward. I'm failing forward. Today I failed forward. I overate the last few days thinking that I can increase my calories. Well, no, my body is not happy, so now
Yeah.
I have to rein it back in. So you get to experiment on yourself and you get to fail and it gets to be wrong and then learn from that and keep following Deborah. What's your YouTube account?
Is lean and light on sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go follow her. She has great videos every few days, every day, whatever,
Yeah. Yeah,
often.
I'm busy with the kids, so I just whenever I have a chance to make a video, that's when I do it. I don't have
Yeah.
a schedule. Maybe when they go back to school, I'll have more like normal schedule, but for
Right.
now, it's just whenever I can.
Yeah, and she has a lot of videos as well where she shows her body, which looks amazing. So go check that out because that's what inspired me to like connect with her. So,
Mhm.
Deborah, it's been so fun.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
for
you
the
for having me. I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. Maybe we'll do it again soon, and we'll see you on the internet.
Yeah, sure. I just saw you posted it, so I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Thanks. Bye for
Bye.
now.
Bye.